story I wanted to tell, even for my children, and I thought maybe everybody else might get a kind of a kick out of it. In 1955, I was about 7 years old, and my mom and dad hired a babysitter to babysit me, my two brothers, and my sister, and they went on a vacation to Florida. And I'm from Wisconsin, Sheboygan, and they took a train. And back in those days, that's kind of what you did. It was kind of a fun way to travel. And they got down to Florida, and as they got off the train, there was a 55 Chevrolet, a yellow one, parked at the train station. And my father, whose name is Ken, and my mother, whose name is Alice said to Ken, "Ken, look at that car. Isn't that the most beautiful thing you've ever seen?" And my dad, I guess, kept that in the back of his mind for a day or two, because he called back to his friend, Mr. Gale, who owned the Chevrolet garage in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, and said, "I want you to find my wife a yellow 55 Chevrolet, and I want you to have it parked at the railroad station next week when we get off the train." And Mr. Gale said, be glad to do that, Ken." So as the story goes, they're on their way back, and they get back to Sheboygan, and they're getting off the train. And Alice says to Ken, "Ken, would you look at that? There's another one of those beautiful Chevrolets." And with that, my dad gave her the keys to the car and said, "Honey, this one belongs to you." Now, the part about that that's kind of good is different, I guess, is that I was only 7 years old. So in 1962, January of 1962, my oldest brother, Jim, graduated from Purdue University as an engineer and had accepted a job working for Pratt & Whitney out in East Hartford. And my mom and dad gave him the car as a graduation gift. So I was about 14 years old at the time, and I'll show you a picture of my brother in a 55 yellow Chevrolet taking off from our house in Sheboygan and headed out to Connecticut to start his first job. Now, the car my mother had only had a white roof. The roof was white, and it was yellow every place else. All of this was yellow, but it did have a white top. And pretty car. And my brother no sooner got out to Connecticut than I think he traded it all or sold it and bought a Corvette. But then, as I turned 16, I had a all yellow 56 Chevy, pretty much just like this one, only 1 year newer. And I put a 283 in it, bored it out, put a cam in it, put a 4-speed transmission on the back of it, and I drove that all the way through high school. So this yellow 55, 56 is kind of got a spot in my heart, I guess, and a lot of memories. So I hope you stick around as we go through this thing and check it all out and figure out what's wrong with it and what it takes to get it right. And thanks for coming along. Bye-bye.